Charter schools are publicly funded schools that give parents a choice in where their child is educated. Charter schools also have their critics, who say they weaken traditional public schools. While the debate has continued for more than 2 decades in Massachusetts, there are 38,000 students remaining on a waiting list for charter schools. Carolee McGrath sat down with Pioneer Institute fellow and author Dr. Cara Candal, who wrote a new book, The Fight for the Best Charter Public Schools in the Nation, to hear why this former educator believes in the charter school model.
The premise of the book is that Massachusetts has some of the very highest, if not the highest performing charter public schools in the entire country. And this is based on research that I go into detail describing in the book. It's very high quality research, what we like to call a gold standard of educational research out of places like MIT, Stanford University, University of Michigan, showing that charter schools in Massachusetts and in Boston in particular, where most of our charter public schools are concentrated, not only perform very well on standardized tests, on other measures as well, but close achievement gaps at really at quite phenomenal rates comparison to public schools, period. And so this book is an attempt to understand not only why Massachusetts has such high-performing charter schools, but also why, if we have such high-performing charter schools, is it so hard here to grow the sector? Because we also have one of the slowest growing charter school sectors in the entire country.
Well, a lot of people and a lot of critics will say, well, you have in your title, it's charter public schools, but they kind of don't buy that. They say, look, the charter schools take money away from the traditional public schools and then leaves those kids without the same resources and advantages. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that question, because we do just go into this argument in detail in the book, especially in an era post-2016 when proponents of lifting the charter school cap here in Massachusetts were resoundingly defeated at the ballot box. The fact of the matter is, charter schools are fully public schools. They were first authorized by the Massachusetts legislature with our Education Reform Act in the early 1990s. And charter schools are public because they can't discriminate as to whom they accept. And that is the primary definition of a public school. So any student that applies to a charter public school is eligible to attend that school. The only determining factor is that many times charter schools have long wait lists because there are more students and parents that want to use those schools than the schools can actually have in their buildings. And so in that case, what happens is charter schools hold lotteries, and random names are drawn from actually, a lottery ball. Mm-hmm. and then students are admitted in a first come, first served basis. I think the other myth that you bring up about are charter schools public or not is this idea that somehow they're run by for-profit providers. That's just not the case. Nationally, there are circumstances in which charter public schools, and some here in Massachusetts, can choose to contract with a for-profit provider, meaning a management organization that will help the charter school sort of with the day-to-day finance operations, some curriculum, things like that. This is no different than any other public school district that buys, for example, its textbooks from a for-profit publishing company. It's the exact same thing. The other myth, which you also mention, is that these public schools somehow drain funding from traditional district schools. And this is, I would argue, the myth on which the ballot question was really lost, because charter advocates did a horrible job, I would say, and I'm among them, I would put myself among them, of telling the public why this isn't true. And the fact of the matter is that here in Massachusetts, we have a very distinct and important way of funding charter public schools. And what we say is that the money for charter public schools follows the child. So if a child or a family says, I'd like to attend the charter school down the street instead of the district school that I'm slated to attend, the money that is designated for that child's education simply flows to the charter public school. And in fact, when district schools lose students to charter public schools, those districts are reimbursed up to 225% of the one-time cost of that child leaving to go to a charter school. We are the only state in the entire nation that actually pays districts when students choose to leave for charters. So they're public, and it's really difficult to make the argument that they drain money.
What about answering to a local school board, which is another thing that people will bring up and say, well, they don't have to answer, to a school board.
Yeah, well, they actually do. They have to answer to a board. So charter schools are chartered by the state. They hold a charter, a contract with the state. I am I'm actually a charter school board chair. I'm the proud board chair of the City on a Hill Charter Public Schools Network. So what it is we are not an elected board. We are an assembled board, right? And we are citizens and just people who are really interested in supporting public education that choose to do so in the context of a charter school board. And it's the charter school board that is ultimately accountable for ensuring that the schools that it oversees meet the terms of their contract with the state. And the best thing about charter public schools, in my opinion, is that when they don't perform and when the board doesn't do a good job of holding the schools and their leadership accountable for strong performance for kids, those schools close down. That just doesn't happen often enough in our traditional public school sector, and too often district schools are allowed to continue to go on even when they're failing large groups of children.
I think another concern that people have had and have brought up, and especially during the 2016 ballot question, was that charter schools don't serve enough kids with English as a second language or kids with special needs.
Very, very important point. And I would say that up until about 2010, that was true. Charter schools were not serving students with special educational needs, students with disabilities, or English language learners at parity with districts. There was a reason for that. So in 2010, we passed a law called an Act Relative to the Achievement Gap. It modestly raised the charter school cap in some places. And at that time, what happened was the legislature also said that school districts had to share student addresses with charter public schools. So because it's such a contentious relationship, which I think is very unfortunate, what would happen is a lot of times, so say you're a charter school leader and you operate a charter school in a strip mall somewhere because you don't have a lot of money, you're a startup, et cetera. The only way you're going to attract students to you is by sort of a boots on the ground campaign. And it was very difficult for charter schools to reach certain populations of families for a very long time because they had a hard time getting the word out. With the 2010 law, when school districts were required to share student addresses, which they had for a long time held away from charter schools, things really opened up. Charter schools were able to better market, so to speak, their services to a wider swath of the community. And since that time, we have steadily seen an increase in the number of students with special needs and English language learners enrolled in charters, to the extent that at this point, charter public schools in most cases are either at parity, sometimes above parity. In my charter public school in New Bedford, we have a much higher percentage of students with special needs than the district, and that's a great thing. That's what we are supposed to be doing. So used to be true, and now that we have the resources and the tools, charter schools are doing a much better job of serving all.
So how are charter schools able, to have these great test scores or high performing situations? How are they able to do it, over a public school, traditional public school?
Well, in the book, what I argue is that Massachusetts has done a particularly good job, I think, especially in comparison to other states across the country, of setting up charter schools for success. And what I mean by that is there's this thing that we like to refer to in the ed space as the charter school bargain. So when charter schools were conceived, the idea was that they would have more autonomy and freedom from regulation, right? A lot of our district schools would like more freedom from regulation. But that autonomy to do things like extend the school day, try a different curriculum, extend the school year, hire and fire who they choose, is only in exchange for a greater degree of accountability. So as I said, when charters don't perform well, they're evaluated on 5-year cycles, and if they don't perform well, they close. And in Massachusetts, we've held true to that bargain. So our authorizer has actually given charter schools autonomy. They've guarded that autonomy. And on the other end, they've held up the bargain. They have closed charter public schools when they don't perform well. And I argue that it's this policy and this honoring of the bargain that really has helped to ensure that charter public schools rise to the occasion and that they're doing very well by our students.